Ladies, let me tell you something right now. When you walk away from a man without a word, without drama, without that big emotional explosion, oh, it hits different. See, we're used to noise, arguing, crying, begging, text messages, paragraphs long. But silence is power. Silence is unsettling. It messes with a man's pride, his ego, his soul. Let me tell you something about silence. It ain't just quiet. It's powerful. It's heavy. It's got weight. See, when a woman walks away from a man and don't say nothing, no text, no argument, no final conversation, just gone, that silence starts screaming inside that man's head. Because you know what? Men don't expect that. That's not what we prepare for. We prepare for drama. We prepare for a fight. A woman crying, asking questions, wanting closure. That's what we think is coming. That's what we're ready for. But when a woman just picks up her piece and walks out without saying a word, that shakes a man's core. And here's the thing, that silence, that's where all the noise starts for him. Because now he's sitting there with his own thoughts. And let me tell you something, men don't like being alone with their thoughts. Most of us don't even know how to process what we're feeling. So when you walk away in silence, what you've done is you've created a vacuum, a space he has to fill. And guess what he fills it with? Regret, reflection, questions, confusion, and more than anything, doubt. He starts wondering what he did wrong, starts thinking about all the little moments he brushed off. That one time you told him you didn't feel appreciated and he just nodded, didn't say much. That other time when you were quiet at dinner and he was too busy scrolling through his phone to ask what was wrong. That time he made a joke that hurt you and you laughed just to keep the peace. All of it comes back like a movie in his head, scene after scene playing on repeat. You see, when a woman moves on in silence, she don't give a man anything to defend himself against. There's no argument to counter, no closing speech to twist, no final words to ignore. You gave him nothing, and nothing is the hardest thing to deal with. That silence, that's the sound of consequences. That's the sound of a man realizing he messed up. And here's what most men don't understand. Women don't get quiet overnight. That kind of silence is built through 1,000 little letdowns, through the emotional exhaustion of repeating herself, through all the times she spoke up and was unheard. So when she finally stops talking, it's not because she doesn't care anymore. It's because she's done trying to make you care. See, a woman's silence is never empty. It's full of everything she wanted to say but knew it wouldn't matter. It's full of the love she gave, the effort she made, and the disappointment she collected along the way. That silence is not weakness. That silence is strength. That silence is her finally choosing herself. But a man, he don't see that at first. No, he thinks she's playing a game, thinks she's trying to make him chase her. So he waits for the text, the call, something, anything. But it never comes. And when it doesn't, that's when the panic sets in. That's when he realizes this ain't no game. This is real. She's really gone. And now he's stuck with his pride and that silence echoing like a drum in a hollow room. Let me tell you something else. When a woman walks away quietly, it's the ultimate message. Because you didn't try to change his mind. You didn't try to get closure. You didn't beg, didn't plead. You just chose peace. And let me tell you, peace is the loudest goodbye a man will ever hear. Because peace means you don't need him to heal. You don't need revenge. You don't need him to understand. You just need it out and you gave that to yourself. That's the part that hits hard. Not that you left, but that you didn't ask for anything when you did. Not even an apology. Not even a reason. Because when you leave without saying a word, what you're really saying is, I don't need your explanation. I saw what I needed to see. And that's something a man can't argue with. That's a mirror he can't turn away from. Now he's looking at the door, hoping it opens again. Checking his phone, hoping your name pops up. But deep down he knows he pushed you to that silence. And now he's the only one talking to himself, to his regrets, to the empty space you used to fill. It's funny, isn't it? All the times you raised your voice, cried, got emotional, he could ignore all that. But the one time you said nothing, he finally heard you, loud and clear. So ladies, don't ever think your silence means you're weak. Don't ever think walking away without a word means you didn't matter. You meant so much you didn't even realize how much until you were gone. That silence, that was your power. That was your mic drop. Because a woman who walks away in silence has already said everything she needed to say. And now it's his turn not to speak, but to listen to what her silence really meant. Let me tell you something about men. We don't process loss the way women do. We just see women feel things as they happen. They cry it out, talk to their girlfriends, pray about it, journal it, go through the emotions. But men, no, we suppress, we distract, we act like we unbothered. We tell ourselves she'll be back or I'm good. We'll go hang with the boys, go out, laugh, post some pictures like life is beautiful. But deep down we haven't even begun to feel the loss. When you leave a man, especially without saying a word, he don't feel that on day one. You might think he's cold, you might think he doesn't care, but it's not that, it's just delayed. He's still in denial. He's still thinking this is temporary. He tells himself she'll hit me up in a couple days or she's just trying to teach me a lesson. That's how we operate. We convince ourselves we've got more time, but then time keeps moving and you don't come back. That's when it starts to hit. Not in a big dramatic moment. Not in one breakdown, no. It creeps in. It hits him at weird times. He sees your name pop up in a memory on his phone. He hears a song y'all used to ride to together. He finds your hair tie in the couch cushion. And suddenly it's like a punch to the chest. Because he realizes, oh, she's really gone. But see, by the time that feeling shows up, you're already gone emotionally. You already detached. You already healed, or at least started healing. He's just getting hit with it. Like a delayed train that finally pulls into the station. And now he wants to fix things, but now you're the one who's quiet. You're the one who's moved on. You're the one who don't need to talk anymore. And he can't handle that, because men don't know what to do with pain when there's no one to blame. If y'all argued and you stormed off, he could say, man, she overreacted. But when you just left without the drama, without the argument, without the explanation, now he has to turn the mirror on himself. Now he has to sit with his choices, not yours. And let me tell you something, that realization that I did this moment, it's heavy. It don't just sit on a man's chest, it crushes him. Because now he's not just mourning you being gone, he's mourning who he was when he had you. He's mourning the version of himself that didn't know how to treat you right. But here's the real truth. Most men don't get it until it's too late. Because while you were silently hurting and giving warning signs, he was brushing it off. While you were telling him, I'm tired, I feel alone, I don't feel seen, he was saying, you're overthinking. He didn't take it seriously because in his mind you were always going to be there. He thought love meant you'd never leave, no matter what. And that's the trap we fall into as men. We confuse loyalty with endurance. We think because you stayed through the storms before, you'll keep staying. We test limits we should never test. We take forgiveness for granted. And when you finally break, quietly, peacefully, we act shocked, like it came out of nowhere. But the truth is, the signs were there. He just didn't pay attention. Now he's sitting in that silence, realizing he fumbled something real. And what makes it worse, there's no one to blame but himself. He didn't cheat, maybe. He didn't yell, but he neglected, he ignored. He didn't grow. And now that you're gone, he realizes that being a good guy ain't enough. You wanted presence, not just promises. You wanted action, not just potential. And he couldn't deliver that. So now he's stuck with the weight. And let me tell you something about that weight. It don't go away fast. That weight lingers. He'll carry it into the next relationship. He'll carry it into the nights when he can't sleep. He'll carry it every time he sees a woman who looks even a little like you. Because now he knows what it feels like to lose something without closure. And you know what really messes with a man? It's the not knowing. The questions he never got to ask. Was she really done? Was there someone else? Did she ever really love me? But the truth is, none of that even matters. What matters is she gave you chances. She gave you her heart. She gave you her words. And when none of that worked, she gave you silence. That was the last gift. That was the goodbye. Most men don't understand that silence is the final chapter. Not a pause, not a test. It's the end. And when he finally starts to process that, that's when the pain sets in. Not just pain from losing you, but pain from knowing he had all the tools to keep you, and he still lost you, because you didn't move on loud. You didn't blast him on social media. You didn't call his mama. You didn't show up to his job. You didn't try to hurt him. You just vanished. And that makes a man wonder, how could she love me and leave like that? But what he doesn't realize is, you didn't leave because you stopped loving him. You left because you stopped loving yourself less. And when a woman remembers her worth, oh, it changes everything. Now he's trying to remember who he was before he had you, and it don't feel right. He's trying to talk to new women, but it don't feel the same. He's trying to go back to normal, but nothing about life is normal without the one who brought peace. So no, men don't process loss right away. We process it in silence, in loneliness, in flashbacks, in regrets, in moments too late to fix anything. That's when we start feeling it. Not when you leave, but when we realize you're not coming back. Let me tell you something about absence. It has a funny way of making people see you differently. See, when you're around all the time, when you're always answering his calls, showing up, checking in, holding him down, he starts to get used to it. He starts thinking that's just how it's supposed to be. Not because he's evil, not because he doesn't care, but because most men don't realize the value of consistency until it's gone. Now, when a woman finally gets fed up and walks away, and I'm talking about that quiet walk, not the yelling and door slamming, but that real I choose peace type of exit, that's when things start to shift. He starts remembering not just the good times. No, he starts remembering the way you spoke life into him when he was down, the way you believed in his potential when even he didn't see it, the little things you did that didn't cost money but were full of love, the way you made the house feel like a home, the way your energy just brought peace to the chaos. See, in your absence, a man starts to replay the presents he took for granted, and something wild starts to happen. Respect starts to grow. He may not have shown it when you were around. He may have acted indifferent, distracted, too cool to say how much he appreciated you. But now that you're gone, oh, he respects the hell out of you. Because you know what most men don't expect? They don't expect a woman to love them deeply and still leave. That shakes them up. That rewires their thinking. He starts realizing that you weren't there because you needed him. You were there because you chose him. You loved him through his flaws, through the confusion, through the mess, and when you left, it wasn't because you hated him. It was because you finally loved yourself enough to stop settling for half love. And that right there, that's powerful. Most women don't realize how strong that moment is. The moment you stop asking him to treat you right, and instead just remove yourself from the equation. You didn't stay and keep nagging. You didn't argue. You didn't compete for his attention. You just walked away with your dignity. And that walk was louder than any words you ever said. Now every other woman he deals with, she's in your shadow. He might not admit it, but he's comparing them to you. He's thinking, she don't smile like her. She don't hold me down like her. She don't check me when I'm wrong like she did. Because once a man experiences real love, mature love, present love, everything else feels like a knockoff. And that respect he took too long to give, now it's sitting heavy on his chest, too late to hand it to you in person. You ever notice how after a breakup, suddenly he wants to start working on himself? Now he's in the gym. Now he's reading books. Now he's going to therapy. Now he wants to be a better man. And some women get mad when they see that. Like, why couldn't he do that when he was with me? But let me tell you, you were the reason he even started. Your absence showed him what his lack of effort cost him. That respect you earned in silence. It pushed him to grow. He just didn't know how to grow while still holding on to the old version of himself, the one that didn't treat you right. Sometimes your absence is the teacher he never had. And the respect, it multiplies when you don't look back. When you don't text him late at night. When you don't respond to that "I miss you" message. When you don't come running just because he finally woke up. That's when it hits him that you weren't playing games. You were done. You had outgrown the version of him that couldn't love you right. And now he respects not only your love but your boundaries. See, a lot of men chase women who leave them loud. The ones who block them and unblock them. The ones who post revenge pictures and cryptic captions. But the woman who leaves in peace, the one who says nothing but moves like she's never coming back, that woman haunts him because there's nothing to fight with. No drama to distract from the truth. All he's left with is the reality that he lost a queen. Not because she stopped loving him, but because he kept treating her like she was replaceable. Let me be real with you. A man may not always say it, but he knows when he had something. He knows when a woman brought value to his life. He might not know how to keep it, but he damn sure knows when it's gone. And the longer you stay gone, the clearer that picture becomes. Now when he talks about you, and trust me, he will. He won't say you were crazy. He won't call you toxic. He'll say she was solid. I just wasn't ready. That's that post-respect talk. That's when the ego drops and the honesty kicks in. And that's when you know your absence taught him what your presence never could. So don't think walking away quietly means you were weak. That was your strongest move. You taught him what standards look like. You showed him that love is not enough when respect is missing. And now even if he never says it to your face, he respects you in ways he didn't even understand when he had you. Sometimes the biggest lesson a man learns is who you were after you stopped showing up. Now let me tell you something real. Something from the soul. When a woman walks away in silence, that's not just her leaving a man. That's her finally choosing herself. See, for a long time she chose him every day. She chose him when he was distant. She chose him when he was cold. She chose him when he was confused, when he didn't know what he wanted, when he was still trying to figure life out. She stayed. She poured into him. She rooted for him. She sacrificed. And every time she put herself second, she told herself it's okay. He just needs time. He'll change. He'll see. But something happens when a woman starts getting quiet. That silence ain't sudden. That silence is slow. It starts with disappointment, then turns into frustration, then eventually transforms into numbness. And when a woman gets numb, you got a real problem on your hands. Because now she ain't arguing. She ain't crying. She ain't trying to make you see her anymore. She's finally seeing herself. In that realization, that's the most dangerous shift a man can witness. When the woman who used to beg for your time, your love, your attention suddenly stops asking. She stops texting first, stops checking in, stops explaining how she feels. She starts pulling her energy back piece by piece, day by day, until one morning she wakes up and says, I deserve more. And then just like that, she's gone. Not physically at first. No, she might still be in the house, still sleeping next to you, still making dinner, but emotionally, she gone. spiritually, she already packed. And when she finally gets the strength to walk away without saying a word, that ain't abandonment. That's liberation. That's a woman choosing her own peace over a relationship that kept breaking her spirit. Most men don't understand what it takes for a woman to get there because they don't see the silent battles. They don't feel the tears cried in the shower, the prayers whispered at night, the phone calls with her mama or her best friend trying to hold herself together. They don't see how she keeps showing up with a smile while her heart's falling apart inside. They just think she's strong. And yes, she is. But even the strongest woman has a breaking point. And when she reaches it, she don't need to announce it. She don't need to tell you, I'm done. She don't need to argue or slam doors or burn your clothes. She just leaves quietly, respectfully, fully, because she finally remembered what she brings to the table. She remembered that she's not just a girlfriend, not just a partner, not just somebody's ride or die. She's a whole woman, a woman with dreams, with depth, with value, a woman who deserves to be loved in full, not in pieces. That's what most men don't realize until it's too late. They think, oh, she'll be back. She always comes back. But not this time. Because this time, she didn't leave to teach you a lesson. She left because she learned. She learned that loving someone should not cost her her sanity. She learned that no matter how much potential you got, it don't mean anything if you don't put in the work. She learned that loyalty to someone else means nothing if it comes at the price of disloyalty to herself. Now she's gone, and you're feeling that emptiness, that space where her energy used to be, the peace you took for granted, the light she brought into your life, and now you want it back. But here's the kicker. You can't access her anymore, because the version of her she don't exist no more. She evolved, she elevated, she walked into a new chapter where you no longer fit in. That right there is what burns. That's what makes a man sit back and reflect, not just on what he lost, but how he lost. Because when a woman leaves quietly, it forces you to look inward. You can't blame it on drama. You can't say she was crazy. You can't point fingers. All you got is silence. And when you finally realize she left not to hurt you, but to save herself, that's when you start to respect her in a whole new way. And don't get it twisted, she didn't leave because she wanted to. She left because she had to, because staying would have meant slowly disappearing, emotionally and mentally. And no woman deserves that. No woman should feel invisible in the same space where she gives everything she's got. She deserves reciprocity. She deserves to be chosen back. When she finally chooses herself, she don't do it with hate in her heart. She do it with love. Love for her own healing, her own growth, her own peace. And once a woman finds that peace, there's no man, no memory, no apology that can pull her back into a place that once made her feel small. So now you see her shining. Now you see her glowing up, doing her thing, living her life. And you want to reach out. You want to say, I miss you. I've changed. I finally get it. But by then, she's not looking for you to get it. She was hoping you'd get it when she still came. Now she's moved on. Not to hurt.